Welcome back. Tonight, we're going to compare the all-new Claude Code GUI to Cursor. So let's get started. You start by opening up the Claude desktop, and then you'll notice at the top, you've got 3 tabs, the one being Code on the far right. Click Code. You go in here, you select your project folder. For this case, I did a Android app in Flutter utilizing Android Studio yesterday, and it built the folder structure, and it built a minimal working application for me. So say here, we're going to have it plan right down here. We could also have it code. And the other one is ask for approval for each action. So the primary two that I typically focus on is the code or the plan. So let's take a look at the plan. Also, you'll notice on the left-hand side, this is where you insert your image, attach it to GitHub, and you've got your connectors here. Okay. You also have your models here. We're going to use Opus 4.5 for this demonstration. So back to the planning mode. This is the easiest way to compare Cursor, if you ask me. So we give it an instruction, something like this. Review this project. Okay. And let's watch it work. Now, I've been working on this all day, and I've been really testing the difference in between the project planning between Cursor and Claude Code GUI, because I feel like that is the biggest differentiator on where they're at right now. So as you can see, this is reviewing the project. It's essentially going through, and you can see right there, it's saying exploring the Flutter project structure, and it's going to go through and it's going to evaluate it. It's going to ask me, just like it does in CLI, allow once, or I could use don't ask me again, yada, yada, yada. And there it goes. It's tinkering. And it's going to come back basically and say, hey, this is a Flutter project, and you wrote it so you could have an Android app. And it's going to come back and tell us all about that. To test the planning feature of both Claude Code GUI and Cursor, I gave it a large prompt that essentially said, change my recipe application from a minimal basic application to a large-scale application that utilizes Firebase, utilizes authentication, and a Postgres database on the back end. I said, do this in a planning structure, and at the very end, give me like an XML download of what the databases look like. Tell me all about the primary and foreign keys, and I let it go off on its own. And so let me show you what happened with that. So if you go back in and open the sidebar here, let's look here. This was the planning session right here. And you can see right here, we got a little bit of bugs going on there, right? Where it's overlapping. And keep in mind, this is really just in beta mode for the Claude Code GUI. Okay. And here you can see the entire overview, right? It did everything for us. It comes down through here. And this is the planning mode. Right? It came all the way through here. It created an ERD for us. It did all the primary keys, the foreign keys, came up here. All right. Went into grave detail about it. Okay. Right down through here, tells us all about it. Gives us core features, the social features. It comes back here with the organization features. All right. And then it even goes into the planning phases, phase 1. Right? Phase 2. It's kind of interesting that it thinks it's going to take 4 weeks. This is like old school. I'm pretty sure that none of this takes 4 weeks anymore. Not with Claude Code. This has got to be pulling from somebody who did a project plan, and it's just out there on Reddit or something like that, getting this data, because there's no way this stuff takes 4 weeks. But anyhow, so now you go down. Here's more of the planning phase. And then what I'm going to show you next is the Cursor planning phase. We'll show you the difference. Okay. It's got the Firebase setup. At the very end, you've got the XML schema. Okay. So now let's take a look over here at Cursor. So if you open up the Cursor over here, this is where Cursor still excels. I think their planning is fabulous in Cursor. I don't think anybody would disagree with Cursor is the best planner out there. Now let's take a look at this. It's very nicely done, right? Look at this, these diagrams that it's got here. It recommended we go with Supabase on the client, Postgres on the back end, right? Real-time storage. It comes down here and it says database structure in Postgres, right? Tells us all about the keys. Looks great. Very nice formatting. And then it gives us the XML schema file for review, right? Everything we need there for the XML. Gives us a nice summary. And then it's ready to do the next build or whatever as far as the code goes. So, this definitely goes to Cursor, but Claude Code GUI has come light years, from where it was. This thing didn't even exist 2 weeks ago. So, I feel like we're 80% of the way there with Claude Code GUI. We're not 100% of the way there yet to catch Cursor, but we're getting closer. But it's going to bring a lot of people over because it's substantially cheaper. If you ask me, if you want to code in Opus, right? If you want to do an Opus 4.5, it's definitely got to be cheaper to do the $20 plan at Anthropic versus the Cursor. Let's take a look at some of the other things that Claude Code GUI has to offer over here. So let's go back to Claude Code GUI and take a look at this. Okay, let's scroll up here. Okay, so now some of the other things with Claude Code GUI is you'll notice you've got some archive features up here. You can rename. Now, what's weird about this, I tested this earlier. I archived something. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find where it went, so I had lost it. And you have to actually open up the CLI and go Claude / resume, and it will not unarchive it. It will show it to you. So it'll show up inside the previous prompts. But what's weird is there's no unarchive, right? You can't do it that way. So if you look back here, and like I said before, you've got some weird stuff like this, where it's overlapping. Okay. And by the way, I've also locked it up quite a bit today. But if you look back here, what this does is in the sessions, you see here, it's got active and archived. And right now we're just showing all, so it shows archived and active. What's very strange is if you archive something, you can't make it back to active. So I'm sure they'll change this in the future, but right now, that's just what you got to live with. Also, you'll see over here, local cloud environment. So you can get to your GitHub, or else just work on a working directory here on your C drive. So let's take a look at another one of these prompts. Okay. Oh, that one was archived. All right. So now let's do a skip here. And so let's also look at some of the other features that this now has to offer. And so now it's approved the plan and start coding, right? Or tell it what to do instead. Let's see. So we can tell it something else like, give me more options. All right. And there we go. And also let's take a look at this on the GUI interface. Ironically, you have open and Cursor. So you can actually switch it straight over to Cursor. You can also open up your CLI by clicking here. You've got your add image. You got your different prompts, which is your planning or your coding. Okay. Right here, you've got the copy path. So we're not where we need to be yet to say, oh, it's beaten Cursor. It's not there yet, but it is probably cheaper if you're going to use Opus 4.5 by far than utilizing Cursor. And we see a clear direction by Anthropic on this, that its goal is to compete directly with Cursor in the IDE arena. So, but I hope this helps. So once again, this is the new Claude Code GUI interface by Anthropic. If you'd like to see more videos like this, like and subscribe down below. And let me know what you guys want to see me to do tomorrow. And we'll film and do it again. Thanks. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.